just the general gist of that.
Yeah, I like doing the case roundup. That's sort of bringing together the all the main cases of the year, and really got sort of 5 minutes on each case, so you've got to break it down and make it understandable. And you've got a mixed audience at ALEP, so you've got valuers and solicitors in the audience, and you've got all levels of experience. So I enjoy making everything as simple as possible, so that a valuer can understand the legal issues and vice versa, which is not always easy in enfranchisement. Some of the cases are pretty raise complex issues. So yeah, those are the speaking opportunities I particularly enjoy, and it's also fun to lecture with other people. So a couple of times I've lectured with other people, sometimes with a valuer, although most recently with a human rights barrister, and that was quite fun. I was sort of fielding questions and explaining some of the sort of finer concepts of enfranchisement if necessary. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the teamwork aspect.
Well, the thing that's quite nice about speaking at an ALEP event is it's a very warm and friendly and forgiving audience. And it's also obviously an audience where most people have a fairly good understanding of the subject matter, because sometimes it's quite difficult talking at events where you might have somebody terribly involved in the area of law and somebody else who's a newcomer to it. Whereas at ALEP, everybody's basically involved in the same goal of trying to either extend somebody's lease or enfranchise a block of flats or whatever. And of course, we do also deal with slightly related items, like, for example, right to manage and that sort of thing. So I've always found when I've spoken at ALEP events that it's effectively like speaking to your friends, because everybody there is generally somebody that I know, and I've listened to them speaking at other events on topics in relation to enfranchisement law. When it comes to my favourite topics, that's a difficult one. I personally find doing case updates quite difficult, because of course as the law develops more, the cases are dealing with more and more sort of minutiae details in the Act. So I prefer to do the sort of bigger topics, and in recent years I've found it very interesting talking about the proposed reforms, because there's no doubt that the current law is overly complicated and therefore quite expensive for leaseholders to actually engage with, because I've been doing enfranchisement law for the best part of 20 years, and every single time I get a case, there is something new in it. There's always something that somebody hasn't thought of, or some clever point that somebody has raised, and that's all very interesting for us lawyers. But obviously, it adds to the difficulties in pursuing an enfranchisement claim. So I think the reforms are all quite interesting, and it'll be interesting to see, of course, whether and when they come into force.
So I was asked to represent the non-London delegates in subjective relativity. And I think initially when I was asked, I was really pleased, and I instantly said yes, because it's such a high-profile thing to do. And but then I was really afraid, because you have to stand up on a stage in a room full of people who do what you do. But actually, what I found was there was a really friendly, welcoming, warm environment to be honest about that sort of thing. The day was run so well that I didn't feel nervous, because it was all very professional, very light. The introductions were so well put together, and it was an honor to be asked. And I found presenting it much easier once I had got there and settled in. And it also gave me an opportunity to work alongside somebody that I would otherwise probably never have come across. And that was great, because it's another perspective. It's another voice that you can add to your own sort of repertoire, that you can sort of think about what the things they've said to you, and how that impacts upon what you can do and how you can present yourself. And I found really the environment, the audience they were great. They were absolutely great. And I think that comes from the conferences being so well run, well put together. Everybody feels at ease, and it is such a friendly environment. Yes, and I think that at the time I spoke about relativity, and it's a topic that keeps coming around and around, and lots of people have spoken about it. So I don't think it's my favorite thing. The thing I did really enjoy have been, and I think there have been a series of topics on common hold, which is obviously an area that isn't widely known, and I didn't really know much about it at all. And I found the talks on common hold really, really useful, very insightful. The speakers were well picked, well prepared, and the content was fascinating, and that sort of information sharing in a really honest and open way is sort of one of the hallmarks of ALEP, I think.